everyone, and happy Monday. Got some fluff off my camera. It is time for our Johanna Basford page again from her weekly planner. Now this is from Enchanted Forest, so I've done it quite a lot of times, but that's fine. I've got an idea to do it a little bit differently. I try and do it a bit differently each time, just to keep it interesting for me really, although occasionally I've done one the same way that I did on my own to demonstrate it for you guys. Now I've decided to use my Brutfuner Metallic. I've got my swatch chart here. Now I did have a comment, you see, from someone saying, you say the Brutfuners are your favourites out of Brutfuner and Castles and other metallics, however you don't use them much. And it was like, fair point. The reasoning is that the box that they came in was really difficult to handle. I found it awkward, so I've now, for Christmas, I treated myself to a pencil case with some of my Christmas money, which means that they're now in a pencil case with all my other metallics, so I can use them, which much more easily, so that's really good news. So I'm going to use them today, and I'm just showing you the swatch chart while I'm chattering. Now if you don't have these, if you have the Castles, for example, they do compare quite well. There are mainly similar colours. I actually prefer the colours in this one. The orange is better. I prefer the range of colour, and they're a little bit softer. But if you aren't sure, if you're going to go and buy some and you're not sure what to get, have a look at my comparison swatch chart. And although the colours don't come up true when I scan them on my scanner and you look on your screen, it will tell you, you'll be able to have a look and think, well, how many purples, how many blues are there, how many yellows, how many orange, and then look at what colours you like and what works there. That sort of thing could be useful for you, I think. A note with this one, this Wild Aster, if you put white pen on it, it goes pink. I can just see that because I've tried it out. So that might happen. I don't know if that happens in the Castles. I think it does. I've got the swatch chart here, I think. Nope, wrong zip. I'd only undone the one zip on the pencil case. Here's the, this is the Castle and Brutfuner comparison chart. The magnetic mauve slightly bleeds in, but not as much as that. So this is very slight pink, but you can see we've got the sort of 4 yellows in Castles, only 3 in Brutfuner. The oranges actually are quite vibrant, but we've got 2 in metallic in the Brutfuner. Those are reds, are quite similar. We've got this really bright purple in Brutfuner. We don't get anything like that in those. And the greens is all fairly similar, to be honest. So it might be more to do with whether you prefer a slightly harder Castle or a slightly softer Brutfuner pencil. But anyway, I'm going to be colouring with my Brutfuners. Now these 2 charts are available for you to download from my Ko-fi, all free. Let me just move that. Right, let's get on with some colouring. I'm going to do a sort of background first, and then concentrate on the details. I'm actually going to start with the water here because I need to know where it begins and ends for the rest of the background. All the other backgrounds are going to be linked together, but the water we need to do because it is a different colour to what the rest of the background is. So I'm going to grab my swatch chart again and think, what type of colour? Now I want a blue for my water because I want it to look different to the green leaves. Now we do have a harbour blue, it's quite grey, or the enamel blue I rather like. I'm going to use that. So where is that? Here he is. Ooh. The enamel blue. I'm going to come in closer, sorry, it'll be no need to be that far away. Oh dear, I can't see what I'm doing. Let's put that there. There we go. Now I can see. Okay, so I've got my enamel blue. Now you don't have to use just one blue, but it's up to you. Now if you don't have metallics, then you can use a regular pencil. I'm trying to think. It doesn't matter what you use. You can sort of do equivalent colours. So this is a bluey green colour. Well, actually it's a bluey grey colour, so you can use that sort of colour if you want to. If you've got polychromos, this would be, oh, maybe. What would I use in polychroma? I don't think we don't really have a grey blue. These are quite muted, these tones as well, so they're a little bit different. I think when I do water and polychromas, I usually use like a cobalt green, or one of the turquoisey type ones. Probably this dark, there's a darker cobalt turquoise, which is quite nice. I'm trying to colour this way. I can't, it's a bit difficult around those leaves. This always annoys me, because where does it stop? I'm just going to take it to the edge of here, I think. I'm going to sharpen it actually. There we go. And sort of take it to the edge of these leaves, make them the sort of barrier of where the water stops. It's always a bit tricky to know. I've done this picture a lot of times. And where does this stop? You know, it just sort of... I'm gonna just put it up to an imaginary line, I think. There. I should have done it a bit there. But it doesn't matter too much. And do I carry that across? No, I think I'll leave it there. Is it symmetrical? Yes. Okay. Same on, you think I would remember having done it so many times, but I can't. So similar on this side, a similar thing going on. Oh, I am feeling weary. Yesterday out with my one son, we had a long walk, and then popped out again today to the post office. Had to post a few things abroad. I picked up, well, my husband actually picked up a few spare copies of Tiny Year, Colouring Heaven magazine for me. I'm only going to keep one myself, and actually my sister's going to pick me up some as well. And so I didn't ask him to, he just picked me up loads, but I'm quite happy to send them out to people, so that's what I was doing, posting some out. I've still got, I think I've got 2 spares, and then my sister's grabbing me some as well, or has already grabbed me them, she just hasn't seen me. So I've got some spares, so if anyone's really desperate to get one, and they haven't been able to find one, and they don't want to wait, maybe if you're abroad, they are coming to other countries, some other countries, so you might be happy to wait, but otherwise let me know. I can I just put my pencil away. I can grab some. Now I want some darker areas in this water. I'm going to use the Bluebird. It's really vibrant, and I'm gonna add a few bits where the water's got these ripples and stripes. I mean, you could do it in a white, you know, like it's sort of foaming sort of thing, but I'm gonna go a different blue. I think I'm gonna do a bit below the castle. I'm just gonna sort of fade it off a little bit like that, and then I should do it underneath these ripply bits. I don't know why I'm choosing to do it underneath. You could do it on top. I've got no idea. It's just what I've decided to do because it works with what I've done there. There's no good reason for it, but it just emphasises those ripply bits a bit. I think I'm going to extend that out across there, and adds a bit of interest to our water so it isn't just plain. And you don't have to put this in, or you can do it in a green. I'm tempted to add a few green ripples as well, but because I'm going to be doing some green, my leaves in green, I think I want this to just be blue. You know, I'm semi-tempted. You know, a light phthalo green, some bits would look quite nice. Do I have such a colour? I'm just going to look. Oh, the Irish green. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab the Irish green, just put a little bit in. First here and there, just a few streaky bits. Now you can blend this all together if you want with a blending pencil, but something I have discovered with I don't know if it was these metallic pencils, is that if you blend them, the shine vanishes. Interesting, eh? Right, now the rest of the background, like we've got this grassy bit, leaves, etc. Now I want a really light green. I was looking at the bud green, but I think the macaw green is the lightest. Or we can do dark green in the background. Would that make more sense? Dark green behind the leaves. You know, I think that would make more sense, but my original plan was if I do it all light underneath, I can just colour over everything and then go over the leaves again. But it would look better if it was dark behind, I think. So now I am questioning my decision and pondering a bit. I think I am going to keep it simpler and do the light. So macaw green, it's our lightest green. It looks quite yellow, doesn't it? And I am going to just go from here and colour everything. Now, because it's grass, it probably should be that way, but it's much easier and quicker to do it this way for me, so that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to try and keep it reasonably even. However, metallic pencils don't always go down particularly evenly. Sometimes you get a little bit of grey going down with them from the sort of graphite that's in them and things like that. So, you know, don't get too het up or pressured to get it really even, but I'm just going to do my best as I do and not worry about it too much. See, I can still change my mind about the background at this point. You know, I could leave the leaves this colour and just go over the background in a darker bit. You know, I can change my mind. So I have not committed at this point. I'm actually going to make this bigger further out. You can see what I'm doing. It's nothing difficult to copy. It just takes time. So I'm just colouring over, but I want to just make sure that I don't forget you. And you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, I went out with my son this morning, and I needed to go to the health food shop because I wanted to buy some gram flour, chickpea flour. Don't sell it in the supermarkets. And I wanted to buy some wholemeal macaroni. I'm sorry, I'm putting my arm around there. It's going to be a bit awkward. Which also they don't sell in supermarkets. So, but I completely forgot. So I have to go out tomorrow and do that. I'm sure I needed some other groceries too, but it's good for me to go out and get some exercise. You know, I find it really hard to make the time to exercise all the time. I know walking exercise shouldn't be like. I'm just pondering here. I'm going to go to just the edge there like that. Yeah, it's difficult, and we should do it. We all know that. Although I have recently discovered that apparently it doesn't really help with weight loss very much. It does help with your changing your body shape and making you fitter, and also it's good for your heart and all other things in your body. So it's definitely worth doing. But apparently it doesn't help with weight loss, but that's fine. It's not something that I worry about anyway. Yes, so I'm out for a walk, and but it's actually very good for your blood sugar as well, which is something that I concern myself with more because we've got a history of type 2 diabetes in our family. So apparently if you move for 10 minutes after every meal, that can really help. It's not something I've tried. I don't measure my sugar because I'm not pre-diabetic or anything, but I am trying to make sure that I don't become pre-diabetic. So I do a bit of research here and there on it. And it was just a TV show, which you may have watched if you're in the UK, with the glucose goddess, who was talking about how actually keeping your blood sugar stable can help with all sorts of things. I found it quite fascinating because when I was young, my mum used to notice that when it came close to mealtime, I would get hangry it wasn't a word that existed back in the 70s, but you know, we'll just use it because for want of a better word. And also get shaky and like trembling, you know. And she took me to our family doctor, and I remember him getting one of his big books out from the shelf behind him and looking it up and saying that it sounded like we were getting low blood sugar, but weren't diabetic. But he said, you know, so he made these suggestions which were wrong, that we should keep our blood sugar topped up high all the time, eat sweet Kendal mint cake, which is basically a block of sugar, minty sugar. It's what climbers use to survive when they're mountain climbing in the Lake District. Kendal is in the Lake District. And have this, and then, you know, make sure we eat at regular times and have lots of snacks to keep our sugar balanced and things like that. So that was his advice at the time. Now, nowadays, the advice is very different. It is to have meals that contain energy that releases slowly so that your blood sugar stays more even. So to cut out things like sugars so that you don't have a spike of sugar, and then you know, it slowly releases, which helps things keep more stable. And this is what this program had information about, like you know, eating lots of protein, having protein and fat with every meal so that you don't spike your sugar and things like that, and not having sweet breakfasts, because then you get a slump and it makes you want to sort of snack because you feel lacking in energy. Now, as a child, I didn't want to feel like I wanted to snack because snacks didn't exist. You didn't snack. I mean, I suppose I'm just going to do, whoops, ooh, going to do this centre bit. And what I thought was I might fade this green a little bit. So I might just do a little bit and then fade it into a yellow for the background. So I'm just going to put a light layer of green. So anyway, this series is quite interesting, and it was just fascinating how, you know, the advice we had was wrong, and yet and the doctor actually said, oh, you'll never get diabetes because you've got low blood sugar. Unfortunately, that's been proved to be untrue as well, because often low blood sugar is a precursor to type 2 diabetes, because your pancreas is working extra hard, and then it just goes, and you're producing a lot of insulin, which can cause you to get insulin resistant, which, if you know anything about diabetes, means you're more likely to get it. So I think the opposite is true. I think it makes us more likely to get it, which is a shame, but you know, so I'm just trying hard. This is primrose yellow to do what I can, so hence exercising is something that I really should be doing more of. So I'm going to go over the top of these areas where I've just brought the green in a bit, like that, and then just make this all yellow, I think. You can see that it doesn't look yellow. It's really, because it's a sort of goldish metallic pencil. It's not what you would consider to be a bright yellow colour. This is primrose yellow, so, but it has a lot, as I said, it has a lot of grey pigment in it to make it shine. So it's tricky, but they aren't really that shiny if I tip them to the light. They're not like a pen, you know. But I like this sort of muted colour. I don't like how this is looking at the moment, though. I'm going to go over it a bit more. Yes, so I try, that's why I don't eat a lot of sugar, added sugar, because I don't think it does me any good. Also, I can get very addicted, which isn't, you know, once I have it, I just want more and more and more and more. And so I just don't have it, and then I don't crave it if I don't have it. Once I'm used to not having it. So for me, it just doesn't work, and everyone reacts differently, you know. but I'm trying to increase the amount of protein I have in my meals. It's quite tricky because I don't like meat, I can't eat dairy, I can't eat eggs, so I can't eat nuts. So it's beans and lentils really, but I do have a fair bit. Also there is protein in things like bread. Grains have protein in, so I make sure I always have grains. And I always feel like I've got enough energy, so I take that as a good sign, you know, because it's interesting, because there are some people saying we need to have more protein, other people saying no, we don't. It's a bit tricky. I think one thing that I've heard recently which makes a bit more sense is to try and spread your protein through the day. Don't just have it all in one meal, which makes sense, so that you're getting a constant sort of supply of it. I think that makes sense. I am looking at ways to try to change up some of my meals a little bit, because I tend to have the same breakfast every day and the same lunch every day, and that I don't have any vegetables or fruit at lunchtime. I just have toast. So I think I need to put a little bit more effort in. Maybe put some mushrooms on that toast. Delicious, or something. Or some tomatoes or something different, you know, something. Or throw some veggies in the oven to roast for lunch, or something a little bit different, you know. So I've been thinking about that. No, I'd quite happily eat roasted veggies on toast. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I haven't done anything about it. Thinking about it isn't really good enough, is it? But yeah. We'll get there. My husband always says that. When I ask him if he wants to do something, he'll say, I'll think about it, and I know that means no, or we won't do it, or I don't want to do it, or but it's same as me. If the family say, should we do this, and I say maybe, then Mum, that means no. Yeah, it does. I just don't want to be rude, so maybe. Oh well. But yeah, I just find it all quite interesting. But we are bombarded with health advice, and it's also confusing and difficult. Actually, I think there was a debate yesterday in our parliament about trying to, I don't know if it was in the main chamber though, or in one of the side chambers, but about trying to make healthy foods more accessible, which I think is good. It was about basically taxing foods that are high in sugar, but using the revenue from that tax to subsidise healthier foods, because a lot of people say they can't afford health foods. Now, I don't, there are some health foods which I think aren't proper health foods, they're labelled as health foods, but they're not. But, even just buying, some people say, oh, fruit and vegetables are too expensive. I'm wondering what fruit and vegetables people are buying, because frozen peas and like carrots and things, not frozen but fresh carrots, don't seem to me to be that expensive compared to the price of things like meat and fish. But it depends what you're comparing it to, I guess. And and what's in season prices. Obviously vegetables are seasonally priced. Now I've got my background nearly finished here, but it's really scruffy, so I'm going to sharpen my pencil and go back over it again, particularly this bit just here. So there's nothing wrong with having a quick little assessment of what you've coloured and thinking, that looks a bit scruffy or a bit sparse. I'll just go over it a bit more, and then you can sort of improve things a little bit. I think sometimes people don't layer up. I used to be the same. Just do the one layer, and then if it doesn't look right, oh no. Whereas we can put several layers on. I'm going to actually change colour. I'm going to go for the mimosa. It's a little bit lighter and brighter. I mean, as far as you can get with metallics. I'm going to use this right on the edge of the castle to try to make it look a bit brighter, but I'm not going to go over the leaves. Can you see? Maybe not. I sort of blend it out so I don't put it all the way to the edge. So I'm just sort of fading it out into the primrose yellow. What's mimosa? I'm assuming it's some sort of plant. I don't know. I'm not a gardener. As you can see, I'm just sort of fading it out a little bit. In this bit I don't need to, I can go quite, I can layer up a bit here. Now you can see you can blend and layer these just like a regular pencil. So there's no need to sort of think they're really different. They're not. Oh, it's 5 to 12. So my son's moving about. I guess he's nipping to the bathroom before he thinks about lunch. Other son hasn't emerged. He's up. He was up before I left, but he didn't come into town. He said he had to catch up on some video work. I might try and get them both out with me tomorrow. Wish me luck. I think it's quite good for them not to stay in too much. But I know, I used to hate it when I was young. Oh, you've got to go out, you can't sit in front of the computer / telly all day. Can, you know. It's fun, I'm enjoying myself. Boring old people. Oh dear, I don't mind admitting I'm a boring old. I always think also, you know, with kids, we sort of need to think about what's right for them and try and get them into good habits. You know, I'm sure both of my boys would never leave the house. Actually, my husband's as bad. Yesterday he went out, but he went out in the car. He could easily have walked. Although in the evening he said he was full of aches and pains. He took a paracetamol. He said his knee hurt, his hip, maybe was it? His shoulder hurt. Everything hurt. I was very unsympathetic. I said, oh, it's old. It's old age. But I don't know why he was sore. I said to him he needs to think a bit more carefully about how he's sitting, which we all need to do. I'm going to lecture everybody now about how we sit in our chair when we're doing art. He was doing art and I feel he wasn't sitting in a good position. His shoulder was hurting. And I said, are you stretching too far for your things, you know, and making your shoulder hurt? I think he was. Right. I'm now going to go back to the primrose yellow and just do this sort of outside layer again. Okay, we're getting somewhere, but I want to just sort of finish blending it off really. Yes, so we need to be careful. Something I am very aware of with me is that my shoulders come up, so I sort of put tension into my shoulders, and I have to just be aware that I need to just relax those back a little bit and not sort of hunch. Basically, shoulders up at your ears is not a good position. So, and also I find if I just release my shoulders back, it just automatically makes me feel more relaxed, like I'm taking a little sigh, like it's just calming me. I don't know why. I think it's just a mental thing that, you know, hunched up shoulders equal stress. So if I unhunch my shoulders, I think it's like smiling. Apparently if we smile it makes us feel better, even if we've got no reason to smile. So we all smile now. Maybe we'll all make the world a happier place. Or at least make ourselves happy. I do try and smile at everybody I meet when I'm out and about. I think it's I think it's Dolly Parton that quoted saying that you should share your smiles or pass them on to somebody else, and then they might pass it on elsewhere. Something, I mean, that isn't the quote. That's me paraphrasing in the most awkward way ever. But I think smiling at someone is such a good thing to do. If you're lucky enough to be able to be out and about and you see someone, just smile at them. You know, I mean, my son refuses. He's like, I go to the city, I can't do that. People are rude and they'll shoot me or something. I don't think so. It's not that big a city, but I did. Yeah, I was with him yesterday there, and it's like, you know, it doesn't feel as safe as the little town that we live in. But it was okay. He was like, oh, just ignore all the crackheads talking to themselves. It's fine. Okay. But they are. No one looked like scary. You know, they didn't look like they were going to do any harm. They were just a bit weird. But I'm weird, not in that way. I do talk to myself as well, though. Maybe I am one of them. I don't know. Alright, so this is blended out a little bit more. It's not perfect by any means. You can probably, as I said before, you can use a blender pencil, but it will take the shine off. Not that there's loads of shine, but there we go. And I need to start thinking about some of the details. We've got the castle itself, of course, and the leaves. Now, I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do all of the leaves in the same colour or in a mixture of colours. It's not easy to decide, is it? We've got quite a mix of greens. Let's have a little look at our chart. So we used the macaw green. Purposely used this really light yellowy green. So we've got both the kiwi and the bud green that are very, very similar. And I think these sort of olives are very attractive. It's my thing that I like them. And if actually I tip this to the light, you can see the bud green is quite shiny, but the olive and the kiwi and the bud green, sorry, the macaw is shiny. The bud green and the kiwi aren't that shiny. But I think I'm going to use the kiwi, no, the bud green, sorry. Let's make up my mind. Here we go, bud green. So it's a sort of olivey colour. And I am tempted to just do all the leaves in exactly the same colour. I'm going to just start that and see how it works out. I want them to be different to the background colour that I put in. So I want to, you know, make them a bit darker. But what I could do is colour them all over with this. And then I could put some details in with a darker one if I feel it's necessary. But I feel that in this particular picture that maybe it's the castle that needs all the detailing, not the leaves. That's sort of what I'm thinking, maybe. Because we're sort of peering through the leaves at the castle, aren't we? And in the opposite page picture we've got the telescope that we're looking through, haven't we? Do you remember the page? You may not have done. You may not have that book. But yes, there's two pages next to each other, and the leaf border is the same on both. And one of them has this castle and one of them has a telescope. Well, if you don't have a copy of Enchanted Forest, there's a new version coming out this year, the 10th anniversary edition, and you might want to know anyway. And I don't know, but I'm guessing that it's going to have an extra page or two somehow in it. Because I know with this anniversary edition of Secret Garden, Johanna had drawn a couple of extra pages for it. So I'm assuming, as Enchanted Forest was with the same publisher, that she'll do the same thing for that one as well. So if you want a second copy of Enchanted Forest, if you've already got one, or you haven't got one and you think about buying one, then that might be the way to go. But I do have a flip through of my completed copies of Enchanted Forest, so if you want to see what all the pictures are, you can go and have a look at that if that interests you, and to see whether it's got pictures in that you like if you haven't seen it. I'm actually not intending personally on buying the anniversary edition because I have got so many books, and Johanna's books I've got to finish. I've got Lost Ocean that I want to finish this year. I've got her new book Magical Worlds. I've got a second copy of Small Victories. I've got Magical Jungle that I'm in the middle of, and what else have I got? I've got I've got Worlds of Wonder and World of Flowers, so quite a few books on the go of hers, not including this planner of course. So I wasn't intending on getting another Enchanted Forest. I think I might have one, a blank one somewhere, because it used to be my favourite of hers. When she had her sort of first 4 books, yeah, so out of Secret Garden, Enchanted Forest, Lost Ocean and Magical Jungle, Enchanted Forest was my favourite. But I like Ivy. I've got completed 2 copies of Ivy, but I found Ivy really hard when I first had it, and then when I did it the second time I knew more techniques for gold and, well, metallics and gemstones, which helped a lot because there's a lot of those in there. And what came out after Ivy? Oh, we had the How to Draw books and the 30 Days of Creative. Wasn't so keen on those. Worlds of Wonder I really liked, hence the second copy. I actually bought a second copy before I finished the first copy. And Rooms of Wonder I was not so keen on because although I like colouring small items, which I've been doing in Small Victories and Magical Worlds videos, Rooms of Wonder had the sort of stuff from inside the rooms. I wasn't quite so keen on colouring things like sewing threads and all those, whatever they were, bottles and things. We do have some bottles in the new book as well. Whereas colouring out sort of flowers and plants and things like that, that appeals to me a lot. We're all different. I think it's really good that her books are different, so you can pick what you want. Her next book is Flowers again, Wonderful Wild Flowers. You can already pre-order it. We haven't had a cover. I don't know if you can pre-order it on Amazon US, Amazon.com. You can pre-order it on UK Amazon and on Waterstone's websites, but I don't know about the US. Obviously it's a different publisher, so they may not put it up so early for the whole pre-orders. I've already pre-ordered it, and I think it's coming out in November. I always find it awkward. They come out just before Christmas, and then I want to colour it, and then I need to make Christmas videos, and I get torn. Which should I do? Should I do Johanna? Should I do Christmas? And she doesn't usually have Christmas pictures in her books. Obviously we don't know, but a Christmas themed flower, I suppose. Holly. No, holly's not a flower. Oh, I don't know. But we don't normally have flowers around at Christmas. It's not it's not the time of year for flowers, is it? Really? I suppose because Christmas roses, Christmas cactus, and that's about it. But anyway, we'll see what happens when it comes out. It's a long time to wait yet. But I want to get Magical Worlds finished before it comes out. And actually what I did last year with her new one was I got all the planner finished almost, apart from the Christmas pages, because I wasn't in the mood for doing Christmas pages in October. But I got all the November planner pages done well in advance to give me time to jump into the new book, which was fun. But I seem to this month have coloured a lot. I list what I colour ready for my completed pages video, and I've been struggling a bit over the last few months or so to do more than 60. Now some months I've managed to do over 100 pages, but this month I've gone over 80, which is more than I've been doing for quite a while lately. So that's nice. I think that's my son coming down for lunch. So I think I might just call that stop there, and we might continue in the next video. I know it's a really weird place to stop, but I think I will, as I say, just because it's time for lunch, and you know, we've got half of this in the car, so I don't think it'll this is probably about half the time through the video. So I'm gonna go. So thank you for watching. Have a super Monday and happy colouring.